And right on time, here she is. Hey, Erica, welcome.
Hello, Pamela Elaine. Hello, everyone.
So, Erica, I already introduced the topic and the tea. So, let me ask you a quick question. Any comments about the ginger as a choice for the tea today?
Well, I am learning so much about tea by working with you. And
Oh,
so I understand that ginger tea is a perfect fit for this because it's spicy, and we're talking about what some consider a spicy emotion.
yes.
So I'm excited
Good.
about that.
Yes, anger is a spicy emotion, isn't it?
Yeah.
And in some ways, like ginger, we tend to run from the spiciness of ginger, but it is absolutely medicinal in its purposes. And sometimes we tend to run from anger. But today we're going to talk about anger from a totally different perspective, anger as misunderstood energy. So, you ready?
Yes, let's chat.
Let's chat. Okay. So let me just throw out a few facts to the listeners. I think you'll appreciate it about anger. Anger, fact number one is anger is actually not the problem. What you do with anger can become the problem. Anger is a biological alarm, alarm system. What your body is doing is saying, listen, something important to you is being threatened. Fact number two, this is my favorite. Swallowing your anger does
Mm.
not make it disappear. So sorry. It makes it expensive. When anger has nowhere to go on the outside, it finds somewhere to go on the inside. Suppression is not the same as resolution, it is just anger with a longer payment plan. Fact
Mm.
number three, the people most afraid of their anger are often the ones who feel it most deeply. So avoiding anger does not make you less angry, it makes you less practiced. Woo! Those are some facts there, girl. What do you think?
That is very spot on. I'm sure it covered a lot of ground, is what I liked about it. And I'm always aware about the diversity of our individual experiences as human beings. And so I like that it was broad enough that our viewers can see themselves, as we discuss anger today. So that I love.
Yeah. And so let's get into anger as misunderstood energy. And I thought it was important to frame anger as energy than strictly anger as an emotion. And that's intentional because emotions are energy. And what I do is in the energy world, what you do is in the energy world, and we're just looking at it from different perspectives. Energy, anger as an energy in the emotional intelligence world, the way we look at it is this energy that brings a message. It is a messenger. And I said in one of the facts, it's here to tell you something, that something important to you is at risk or it's been violated. What typically happens, though, what I find in the work that I do, is people don't want to deal with anger or be labeled as angry. I mean, just imagine for a moment you being labeled as an angry person. That is isolating. That could jeopardize your job, right? That could jeopardize promotion. It interferes with relationships. And oh my gosh, please don't be an angry Black woman.
Oh,
Don't even go there.
oh,
So we tend in the emotional intelligence world, we tend to not want to be labeled or to deal with anger. And instead, what we do is we push it down, we suppress it. And just like one of the facts was pointing to, when you suppress it, you are, it's at a cost. What cost? A cost to your health, a cost to your well being, a cost to your blood pressure, a cost to your stress. And so, what I really have come to learn in practicing emotional intelligence and consulting with clients is let's look at anger as a message. What do you think? dear one, anger is here to tell you. And for many of them, many of my clients, it is that something has been violated, a boundary has been crossed, or they haven't advocated for themselves in a way that they are rightfully able to and should for their own well-being. That's that's the EQ, a bit of the EQ world.
What I love about what you just shared, because there are segments of the population, you identified the the concept of being an angry Black woman and how society has weaponized that. Excuse me. And the bigger point is that um, that points to certain members of society aren't allowed to express a natural emotion, a natural energy. So
Yeah.
clearly that's unfair. And so what I hope our viewers get out of today is the permission to understand what your anger is, and from a human design lens,
Mm-hmm.
leverage it.
Mm.
You have it. It exists for a reason. It's a tool. It has a purpose. And so that's where we're going to get into today, because it's not anything to be ashamed of. It is
Mm.
actually a shield and a tool for your evolution.
Yeah. Um, and the beauty of labeling it as energy, to your point, is that we take out the morality of it.
Yeah.
It's just energy. Energy is neutral. Energy can be used to cook a delicious turkey dinner, and it can also be used to fry a prisoner. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be crude, but it is neutral, but how you use it is what matters here. So I want those who are listening now to take out the emotional charge that just the word holds, and just look at it as energy and neutral, and then you determine what you're going to do with that energy, whether you're going to send that um, unpleasant text message, right? Because you're now angry. Or you're going to decide, you know what? Let me just settle myself down and meditate for 20 minutes, or listen to a great piece of instrumental music for a few moments so I can deal with what I'm feeling. It really is a choice what you do with that energy.
Yeah, you're right.
So, talk about a little bit more. You said that the human design, it's a tool. I'd like to hear more about it as a tool in the human design space.
So, from a human design perspective, I would look at anger in three different um, energy circuits. So, think of a motherboard or a circuit board. Um, so, I would look at it three different ones. So, the individual track, the tribal track, and then the collective track, because they all express and experience anger in three separate ways. They have three different purposes. So when the individual experiences anger, and if you all are familiar with human design and have your chart, this will be like the channel 1222 between the throat and the solar plexus. So your emotional intelligence. So that individual anger track and how it's expressed in that emotional wave is signaling, when anger appears, as a signal that something meaningful to you has been threatened. So it's usually a one-on-one situation. So it's like it feels like a personal offense or personal attack that that person is responding to. That person is being provoked or is doing their provoking. Because one thing about human design, it reminds you that energy works both ways.
Mm.
So yeah, you give it, but you take it as well, and vice versa. So if you have a gate activated in your chart, that's what you take in and receive. And so one of the gates in this individual circuitry is the 1222s, and it goes down to the 3955. It's called, the gate is called provocation. So some people are literally born and their primary energy is to be provocative.
Mm.
And so I coach them on how to use that productively in align with their purpose. And so and that feeds into anger if something is not working well and is preventing a feeling. Individual energy is about feeling. It's like, can you feel me in a relationship? And
Mhm.
then another track would be tribal track. So tribal energy shows up when responsibility or reciprocity or resources are threatened, because tribal energy relies on support.
Yeah.
So I'm angry because you are threatening my survival,
Mm-hmm.
my resources. I need
Mm-hmm.
reciprocity from you to survive.
Yeah.
Or I'm in this relationship with you personally or professionally, and you're not being responsible with me, us, or whatever business we're handling. And so that angers me. So that I need that energy to urge and help me rise up to course correct. And then
Yeah. Yeah.
that third track is from the collective part, and that's just society at large. So it's about sharing experiences at large, and that type of anger is to entice you to evolve, to have an experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why aren't we evolving? And so those are the three, just in general, three areas I would look at anger as
And
a
I like all three of those areas because each area does not position anger as a bad thing. Again,
yeah.
as a tool, right? As a tool to be used. Um, and while you were talking, I couldn't help, I don't know why my mind went to a post you made. I think it was on LinkedIn. I think it was on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And the post that you made was in the sorority, was about the sorority. And I am thinking about how anger in those three areas are also part of the sorority that you and I are part of. I mean, it can be applied to what happens in the sorority that we're part of. Would you agree or not with that?
Absolutely. It happens at every organization, whether it's your work environment, an organization you volunteer in,
Mhm.
is your church group, your soccer league. Doesn't matter what the group or organization is.
Yeah.
Anger is present just like every other emotion, and just like every one of the other 64 human design gates and behaviors and energies. Absolutely is present. And even there inside any organization, once you understand it, you can leverage it as a tool. It's like, oh, anger is present.
Mhm.
What is it telling us? What is the message? Like you said, from an emotional intelligence
Yeah.
standpoint, it comes with a message, and then it lets you know what direction you need to go in, because, like you said, a boundary has been violated or something has been threatened. And
Mm.
specifically, a sorority or an organization or work environment, I would look at anger under the tribal
Mhm.
viewpoint,
Mhm. Mm.
because
Yeah.
you're supporting each other, sharing, supporting others by sharing your time, your talent, your resources, and agreements and bargains are there, and
Mhm.
expectations are there. So
Mhm.
anger will arise when someone hasn't met their expectation, that they, promise, or something of that sort. So yes, excellent point. That is of a tribal expression of anger.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of the tribal expression of anger goes unmanaged. But it goes unmanaged because it goes really unrecognized. And in the emotional intelligence world, there is this technique, I'll call it, or tool that's called ruler, RULER.
Mm,
And the R is the key, most important first step, which is to recognize that you are being triggered. Something is triggering you. Your energy is
mhm,
unpleasant, is what we would call it. You're experiencing an unpleasant energy. The U is to understand why. You understand why you are feeling this unpleasant energy. So maybe, sort of to your tribal example, you have taken a resource that I need.
mhm.
Um, Maybe you've taken a position that I wanted. All right. To
Yeah.
understand because if you can recognize, understand, then you can go to L, label. Label it as, I think I'm angry. So here's
Mhm.
where we get to the nuance of being able to know that what you're feeling is a feeling of anger because, as Dr. Brene Brown says, if you can name it, you can tame it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
be able to label it. E is then to be able to express it, because this is where your skill set in emotional intelligence will show up, whether you are strong or whether you are not strong in
Mm,
expressing how you feel. So if you are angry that you wanted a position and somebody else took it, you need to be able to express that anger in a constructive way. And that just requires a bit of development. But E is to be express it, and R is to regulate it. So I'm not going to then key your car. I'm not going to then, I'm trying to keep it real, send you a nasty note. I may instead do something a little bit more constructive about regulating how I feel now that I've expressed it, to regulate that emotion in a constructive way. So that's just something that comes to mind in terms of emotional intelligence, anger, and a technique.
I really like that. And from a human design perspective, I always like to start at the beginning. And so yeah, when anger does present itself, it has a purpose. But when you understand your human design and how you're designed to thrive,
Yeah.
there is a technique to prevent from becoming angry.
Mm,
My TSA pre-check. So if you understand how you're designed to thrive, what environments you thrive in, you'll be able to recognize that you're in the wrong environment, and I'm probably going to become angry
mm,
because I know the reciprocity, the respect, the responsibility are not going to be present. So is this the correct environment for me?
yeah.
Or from an individual perspective, if it's a one-on-one relationship, is this person going to provoke me, not in a positive way to connect, but provoke me for their entertainment purposes and and aggravate me, because individuals, they want to feel your spirit. So
Mm,
from an individual perspective, anger comes up is it's provoking you, say, do you feel me? Can you feel me? Then
mm,
from a tribal, it's feed me. I need you to feed me. I'm angry because you're not meeting my needs.
yeah. Yeah.
Individual is wants, tribal is needs, and
Hmm.
then the collective, about enticing an experience. That's about desires,
Mm, hmm.
imagination, fantasy. You're preventing me from fulfilling a fantasy.
Yeah, you in the way.
Eh, Yes,
Hmm.
I'm trying to have an experience,
Hmm.
and you're stopping me.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so that's good.
No, that really is good. And I was just thinking that, you did my human design analysis, which again, I will say to everyone, if you've never had a human design analysis, you are missing out on the most important piece of understanding your walk in this life than anything else. And so, as a manifester, my mm, my you have to tell me what it is, but it's
Not
anger is my
self-esteem.
not, yes, anger is my not self. And is that because I'm a manifester, or that anger and manifestors go together, or it could have been any other different emotion based on my, so like a projector, what is their emotional not self? Um, a reflector, do they have an emotional not self?
Yes, yes. Every type has a not self, and like you said, manifested, the not self theme is anger. I'm a projector. My not self theme is resentment and bitterness.
Mhm.
Reflector, their not self theme is feeling and experiencing disappointment.
Mm.
And generator and manifesting generator, their not self theme is when they experience frustration.
Wow.
So all of those not self themes are a signal to you. It's your body um, yelling at you,
Yeah.
signaling to saying, hey, you're not being your authentic self. or it's saying you're not in the correct environment to thrive, or
Mm,
you're not engaged with the right person to have the best experience.
yeah.
It's trying to course correct.
Mhm.
It's trying to stop you in your tracks. And it's just that as we aged and grew up, we stopped relying on our bodies. Babies do it, toddlers do it, animals do it, but us as human adults, I
Yeah.
guess we decided or forgot that our body knows what it's doing. It
Yeah.
continue
Yeah.
to listen to your body. Your body tells you what's correct for you all day long. It's never off duty. It's working for you around the clock. You trust it when it tells you it's sleepy and when
Mhm.
you're hungry and when you have to use the restroom.
Mhm.
Why aren't you trusting it when it tells you you're angry, you're
Yeah.
disappointed, you're sad? Do something about it. It
Yeah.
wants you to do something about it.
And I think what's important also to note here is that it's okay for everyone listening. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel any of the other emotions that correlate with your human design type. And we experience an array of emotions. Unfortunately, we're unable to, at this point in time, in our learning of what's important, being able to label what we're feeling. But we have an array of emotions, and it's okay to experience the ones that are unpleasant. Your body is telling you something. Again, it's energy racing through your body, and it's either pleasant or unpleasant, high energy or low energy. And if you want to understand that, I think it's important to pay attention that something is off, something's not feeling right. I'm triggered, and that's okay. Let's just go there. Again, anger as energy, as misunderstood energy, is
Mhm.
the topic of today's conversation. If you're just now joining us for chat, HDEQ, chat with T, um, I'm thinking here personally, I want to move to a part of our conversation where we're gonna like really pour it out. You know, we got our tea in our hand, but we're gonna really pour it out here for a second. For me, um, I realized something that I wasn't so ready to admit. And that was that I had been angry for decades.
Mhm.
And what I would do with that anger was suppress it. And what I was angry about was I felt that I was owed, um, how do I want to say this? I feel like because of the sacrifices that I made as a mother, as a wife, I felt that I was owed not only an apology from my former spouse, but also a deep respect for what I had given up in order for my family to be successful, for my spouse to be successful. And I never ever got that. And so I was consistently low grade angry. And I didn't realize it until I had had probably my second glass of wine. Can I keep it real?
Yeah.
And I'm asking, why am I going down this dark place? Why am I in this dark place? And after honestly doing a little bit of therapy and a little bit of self reflection, it became obvious, everyone, that I was an angry woman. And it wasn't a surprise that I was dealing with high blood pressure. And it wasn't a surprise that I was dealing with a lot of stress. It was connected to my inability to really recognize it was anger and then not knowing what to do with it. It, the bottle of the glasses of wine were lovely, but they weren't solving the problem. And so that was a this is a real thing for me, to deal with anger and not know how to deal with anger, not recognize it, not know how to deal with it, until finally coming to a place that I could ruler, recognize, understand, label, express, and then regulate. That's my truth right there.
And what you described is tribal anger.
Mm,
Remember the words I said: respect, reciprocity, responsibility, resources.
yeah.
You felt like all of those were threatened, not appreciated, right? No reciprocity, no acknowledgement of my contribution to the tribe, to this contract.
Yeah.
I did my part. Are you doing your part? Now I'm angry, right? And what I love about what you said, and as far as for me pouring it out, is moving to the point where, um, and myself, I didn't experience anger to that degree, but through the times of my life when I went to therapy to learn how to process my emotions and my grief, I remember, leaving. I didn't have any language for emotions.
Mm.
My therapist had to print out a sheet, a list of words, like in second grade, a list of emotions, because I had no language
Yeah.
for them. Um, and then when I got to a point, because therapy is for processing your past and your grief, and then you get to a point in life where we are, and what we help move other people through and forward. Moving forward is about deliberately moving towards relief. Now
Mm,
that you have that that understanding and you've processed your past, the next thing you want to do is you want to move towards your future. Okay, what's next? And that's the steps we've taken individually, and that's what we do professionally, as well as help other people move forward. You through EQ and me through um, human design. And
yeah.
so, human design also in emotional intelligence gives you additional language for moving forward. Action. So verbs. So
Yeah.
I had the nouns, the
Mhm.
names from the
Mm.
therapist.
Yeah.
EQ from you and human design gives
Mhm.
you verbs language moving forward. So you
Mm.
can complete that sentence. And feel a full sentence has a noun and a verb, at least a minimum, right?
Yeah.
So the verbs are here. The
Yeah.
verbs have entered the chat. The verbs are in the room with us now. And that what gets me so excited about ourselves and our journeys and our viewers as they journey through life. What can you do about the anger? You're saying, okay, Erica, okay, Pamela Elaine, I have anger. I understand, individual anger, tribal anger, or I kind of feel myself in collective anger. And then the emotional intelligence points that you made. Now, what do I do about it? Well,
Yeah.
what you do about it is alignment, orientation.
Mhm.
Don't try to change anyone else. Start with
Mm.
start with you. Orient where you are now,
Yeah.
what you want to look like, what do you want to your life to look like moving forward, and what verbs, actions, and steps do you need to take to do that. And that's what emotional intelligence and human design helps you do. So that's what I will pour out, um,
Yeah.
sharing my heart and pouring out a resource to the viewers is understand what verbs and what actions that you have, because identifying is one thing, but then what am I going to do with it?
Yeah. 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 No, that's really good. Um, and this is a great segue into the specific tool that we can drop and let our viewers use. um, One of the things that's important in the EQ world is, as you're saying, with human design, is to begin with oneself. And the most important thing in terms of what do I do is the first thing, and people don't seem to really fully appreciate this very simplistic step. I feel angry because if
Mm,
you can just do that, if you can finish, you can make that statement and finish it, you are 90% towards regulating it. And that's what people want. They want to regulate it because regulation brings relief. I feel angry gives yourself permission to declare it, because helps you understand what's going on in your inner world of why you are you are angry. And so let me add the tool to that. There is a wonderful tool, which is an app, and it's called How We feel, I want everyone to pull out their phone and go to the app that's called How We Feel. It's an emotional well-being journal that is in the form of an app. And what it does is not only does it help you identify your feelings of anger, but it'll also give you a definition. You said earlier, your therapist had to make a list because you didn't have the language. This app gives you the language of the emotions, and then it also tracks how you're feeling throughout the day. It'll actually ping you and say, how are you feeling? And
Mm.
you get to pick from a various emotions what you think you're feeling. It gives you the definition and then helps you understand what to do with what you feel. So I want to give everyone this handy dandy, I have the tool on my phone, How We Feel. And we'll put that in the show notes too, a link to it, whether you have an iPhone or Android.
I love that. What that reminded me of is when I used to facilitate anger management classes for for
Wow.
the Army. So Army officers and leaders and soldiers in general, and their family members as well. I had a class for family members, and
Mm,
I'm just thinking back while you were talking. It just made me. I got a picture like, wow, all those years I spent facilitating and training and teaching um, Army officers and soldiers about anger management,
yeah.
and I always had a little discomfort. And I know now in this moment, right, is coming up right now, is that because I don't believe in anger management. I don't like that.
Yes.
And so and so I'm just having a realization and observation right now, because I remember teaching and facilitating the classes, and these people have to be focused when they go on their mission.
Mm,
Emotions can't be in the way. They have to stay focused on their mission. Their training has to kick in. They have to kind of be robotic. They don't have time to be a full human being and be an emotional human being. They have to be very technical.
mhm.
And so I do understand they do have to manage and put their anger in a compartment. Um, but what I realize now, and as I've progressed in my career and I've had, played different roles. But now I would approach it as anger orientation.
Okay.
It's not something to be managed.
Yes. I'm with you.
Orient yourself to it. What is it? What is it telling me?
Mhm.
And how do I use this to make my next move my best move?
Yeah. Oh,
And so I just had that realization. And so maybe that's what I offer with this um, episode is get into your human design chart, because I can show you, I can help you answer those questions. What am I angry about?
yes.
Because it's going to fall under three categories:
Mm,
individual, tribal, or collective.
mhm. Yeah.
And then I can help pinpoint how it shows up for you, and how to move beyond it, how to use it as a tool, and what do you need to do to um, a- align with a better environment or a better experience or a better person or workplace or whatever you need to do, so your anger can subside, not suppress,
Mhm.
but you can process whatever message it was trying to tell you, and then you can reposition yourself so it doesn't have a need to come up.
Mm. Yeah, I love that. So we want to throw out to the audience. We would love to know: was there a moment in your life when your anger was trying to tell you something true?
Mm.
We can't imagine that there hasn't been a moment in your life where your anger wasn't trying to tell you something that's true. But share with us what that is. Drop something in the comments for us so we can reflect on it and give you our feedback on what you share. We'd love to engage with you on this. Next week's episode, I want to also ask you this question: have you ever wanted to scream, I can't take it anymore? If so, you are not alone. And we're going to address that experience in our next episode. So, Erica, I'm going to sign off, and I want to say I enjoyed tea time from your human design perspective. Thank you so much.
And I want to thank you for always sharing your emotional intelligence perspective. Um, when you did my excuse me, when you did my emotional intelligence assessment, I had never had a scoring or a visual um,
Yeah.
line that I can look at,
Mm.
because I like to see marked progress.
Yes.
And I thank you for doing that for me, and so it allows me to track my progress. Like that app you were sharing, allows you to check in, and so I want to recommend that everyone find Pamela Elaine and go ahead and get your emotional intelligence assessment done. You're going to need that. It's a starting point, a checkpoint, and then an end point. So I thank you for that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm excited for next week. We're screaming next week. Cool.
We are screaming next week. I can't wait. All right. Thanks so much, Erica. See you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.